Hello everybody, Spark Simulations here. Today we're going to be doing a fun flight from Boulder, Colorado over the Continental Divide to Granby. We're going to be using Rollins Pass, which is the lowest point on the Continental Divide in the Flint Range at 11,100 feet. We're in Carenado's 170B, which does have a ceiling of 14,400, but we don't have very long to get up to that sort of 12,000 feet we need to get over Rollins Pass. So let's go ahead and jump on into the cockpit and get ready for takeoff. Okay, so here we are in the cockpit lined up on runway 26. We're going to be departing to the west, making a left turn and sort of heading over to the wonderful flat irons of Boulder, which with this morning light, the way they bounce off those slabs of rock just looks awesome. And then we're going to link up with Boulder Canyon, which we're going to have a few visual waypoints to hit. First being Boulder Reservoir, the next will be the reservoir at Town Nederland, and then we're going to see a ski slope called Eldora, and that'll line us up for Rollins Pass to get on over. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get on into the air. We are already set and configured, ready for takeoff. I do just like to get my views situated here. Now, with these tail draggers, I do like to roll the power in kind of easily to get a feel of what the wind's doing with the back end of the plane before it fully lifts off. So just bringing that in. All right, now we're at full throttle. It's feeling pretty good. Just gotta keep it slightly over there. All right, we can go ahead and rotate. We'll get our cruise trimmed out. I'm looking for around 500 feet per minute, maybe a little bit more, as I know 6,000 doesn't sound like lower elevation, but while we're at this lower elevation, we can probably get a little bit more out of it. The other thing that I'm going to be keeping an eye on almost this entire flight is my mixture and my RPM. So over here, you've got your RPM gauge, and as you lean it out, you can see I'm getting a little bit better performance out of the RPMs, and then it's going to dip right there. So we know roughly there is where we want to be. You bring it back in, and you are ready to have the best performance out of the engine. Okay, so we made it over that first sort of obstacle, if you will, the flat irons, and we're going to be keeping a lookout for Boulder Reservoir, which should be right in here, I think, so we can make a little turn to our right, and really we're heading over. I can already see it right now. That right there is the ski slope of Eldora. So we're gonna kind of bank it. So we got the reservoir in sight. We should see the town of Nederland, Eldora, and then hopefully we can get lined up for Rollins Pass. So just getting a little look over the nose. Want to make sure that we're sort of aiming in the right directions. We can see the Eldora ski slope here, so we want to stay to the north of that and sort of head up this way. And really our cue for that we're heading over Rollins Pass is there's going to be a jeep trail that we can see, and there's some trestle bridges on there. So as we pass Eldora, like I said, we're going to be looking for a jeep trail somewhere around here. And the way Rollins Pass works is you almost have to snake through behind, and then you're going to see the town of Winter Park, and Granby's up over here. Granby's where we're going to be landing at. So now we've gone past Eldora, our next sort of visual is going to be right in front of us there, which is this Jeep trail. This comes up from, I think it's Rollins Road is what it turns into, and it just turns into a Jeep trail. Now, there are here and here, so when I say Jeep trail, it's sketchy at best. So you can see here, and there's some other ones are actually these sort of wooden tie or railroad tie trestle bridges from where there's been rock slides. There also used to be a tunnel that went through called Moffat Tunnel. So the way this pass is, we're at 12,100 feet. Now, I would say that they've got the terrain mesh a little too high for here, but we're definitely going to clear it. So once you snake your way through on the low point, you can make your way back over, and now we're going to be able to go over into the town of Granby. So this is our sort of final visual waypoint, which is Granby Lake. The airport sits just off to the west of the south side of the lake. So the main obstacle we have now is this ridge, and it makes for kind of a steep descent to come into runway 27. So we're gonna just kind of trim for our descent and head roughly aiming for just to the left of Granby Lake. So as we're coming up to this ridge just before Granby, this will be our sort of final obstacle before we can actually have sort of a clear path to where we want to go. The tricky part, though, is that you can see we're currently at 10,500, and the airport, which is right here, is at 8,250, 300. So we got to kind of skim these trees, start to slow down, and get lined up to land on runway 27. Okay, so as we bank over here, I'm going to go ahead and really bring that power back, because we got to get down past this little hump. There's some trees, a little forest there, and then there's some final trees right there that we want to make sure that we're clearing, but we also need to be going slow enough. So I'm doing kind of a rapid descent here, just to get us down to be on a better angle to come into land. In fact, I think if I just pull up a little bit here and bleed off some speed, I want to introduce a notch of flaps here. So let's do that. There we go. One notch there. That's what I want. Second notch of flaps. Well, we could have done a slip there as well, but because we got enough time to get down, I figured doing it that way would be a better way to kill our speed off. So here's that final clump of trees. It's hard to, this last one here, I'm sure they would cut those down if this was in real life, but there we are. Alright, I'm gonna bring that throttle back even more. Coming to idle. Now with these, you just want to float. Float, 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 float. go ahead and touch down. There we go. Now you got to dance on the pedals a little bit. And we'll just go ahead and pull off on this taxiway here, the off-ramp. And we made it. A nice, beautiful Colorado morning to go fly a 170B. Get up and over Rollins Pass. I wasn't sure if it was going to be able to make it, just because of the increase, the short distance to get up to that 12,000 feet, but it did a good job. I don't think we could have gotten away with much closer than we were at Boulder to get up to the altitude that we needed. So I hope you enjoyed the flight. If you did, please hit that thumbs up below and leave me a comment and tell me what you think of the 170B. I'd also really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this, along with tutorials, reviews, and flight planning. For now, this is Sprocket Simulations signing off, wishing you happy flights and silky smooth landings. Take care.